Oh, yeah, come on. I'm not done yet. Welcome. Welcome to the Red Hot Mic. Oh, yeah, come on. This is funky beat. Come on. Come on in this house. It's the Red Hot Mic. Here we go. Oh yeah. Woo! Sometimes it just gets to you. Sometimes it just gets to you. You just gotta go with the flow. Come on. Woo! I'm not done with it. No, we're not done yet. We're not done. Oh yeah, we're not done. It's the Red Hot Mic, and we're coming at you from our nation's capital. Yeah, we are. Come on. 1, 2. Hit it. Come on. That's how we do it. Hit it. Thank you for joining me. Come on. Subscribe, like, and share. Hit that notification bell. Come on. We're going to have that Twitter, where you can go to our Twitter account at TRHNGAP, and you can get the link to our chat room so you can join us in the chat. And let's talk about, can a woman out man a man? Because we're seeing some crazy things right now. We need to address some things. We're going to set it straight. Come on. Ruminate, elevate, and activate. Come on. Welcome to the Red Hot Mic on this Friday night. Thank you for joining me one more time. I really do appreciate it. I like having some fun. I mean, it's Friday, right? It's been a long week. You're going through a lot of stuff. You work with folks, you work for folks, you work for yourself, you collaborated with people, you've tried to get things together. Some things worked and some things didn't. It's been one of those weeks, so here we are with another opportunity to do what we do. Thank you. Thank you for coming in to the room one more time. Thank you. My glasses are fogging up. because I got sweaty in here with this music. Anyway, it's good to be with you one more time. And thank you. Thank you. Listen, there's so much going on today, and I got a question. Can a woman outman a man? Can a woman outman a man? I think because of what we're seeing going on in the media, what we're seeing going on around the world, we're seeing the attempt to demasculate or emasculate men. And what we need to do as men, we need to begin to stand up and to speak the truth in love. We need to speak the truth emphatically. We need to speak the truth honestly and unashamedly, unapologetically. And so today I'm going to be unapologetic about what I'm going to say. But we're not going to try to hurt anyone. That's not the intent. The intent is for us to right the ship and to put the perspective out there that needs to be put from this perspective, the masculine. So anyway, some people will not like what we're going to talk about. Some people will appreciate it. I hope that you will at least listen and consider. That's all we ask. Now, we start the show the same way we always do, right? But I want to add a piece. And I do this with my clients. I haven't done it here, but I do it with my clients. And what I want to do is add a moment of meditation. What we're going to start doing is we're going to start adding a moment of meditation where we can just take a moment to just listen. Okay, and we have another piece that we do similar to this. But matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll incorporate it with the other people. That's what I'll do. And let's see if we can get things moving in the right direction. First thing that we want to do is what we always do. We always look at and we try a fragrance, right? We try these fragrances that I'm accumulating. I'm going to be introducing something else as well, not to on this broadcast, but very soon I'm going to be introducing some other products that we as men can use and that can really help us in certain aspects of it's I don't know. I mean, some would say it's kind of metrosexual kind of stuff, but I think it's hygiene, and I think men need to be conscious of hygiene. We really do. We're not in the woods, even though some of the fragrances smell like we are. We're not in the woods. We're not out there, toting that barge, lifting that bale. But we need to be conscious of the social climate that we're in, and that we be able to take care of our hygiene. We need to do that because some of us are not doing that. Cutting nails, cutting toenails, and things like that become important for a number of reasons, right? If you ever cut up your sheets, then you need to cut the nails and toenails. Anyway, but we got a new fragrance. Trying a new fragrance tonight. This is a fragrance that is called Aqua di Parma from Colonia Future. Colonia Future is Aqua di Parma's declaration of love for nature, a lively and untamed creation that blends the citrus freshness of Colonia with the aromatic clary sage, a harmony that concludes with Vesta to bring forward its woodsy touch through earthy and textured accents. Now, I mean, for me, I'm really trying to, I think this is, even though it's a woodsy kind of touch, it really is touching some of the other areas that I really think that are important for this time of year. Things like bergamot, grapefruit, lavender, and sage. are the key notes that along with the vetiver. I can't vetiver, vetiver or whatever. So these fragrances are 99% natural, organic ingredients. Um, this particular fragrance, I think we've done before. I'm not sure because in while I was introducing it, it sounds familiar. So let's give it a shot, and let's see what we come up with. Mm. It definitely has a woodsy. That initial punch was very woodsy, but now it seems to be less woodsy, and some of the other notes seem to be coming through the bergamot. I definitely can smell the lavender. The lavender. Hmm. I like this fragrance. Um, it's soft and mild. Yes, it's one that even though it may go kind of mellow, it'll sneak up on you. It's kind of like comes back. I like it. I like this particular fragrance. I like it a lot. And one of the things I try to do is to be seasonal with the fragrances. I'm trying to do that, and I think that's important because if you were like me, guys, you would take a fragrance, and because you like the fragrance, you would wear it, and regardless of my hat right here, regardless of how it smelled, it may be too powerful for the season, but you still wore it. I know I did. I know I did. All right, so it's important that we get our hat together. It's important that we be more sensitive of fragrances for this time of the year that we're in. Okay, trying to get my hat. All right, we'll go with that. Anyway, so that's what we're going. That's what we're going to do with this fragrance, which again is Aqua di Parma from Colonia Future. It's a very nice smell. I like the smell of it. So check it out. Check it out. Okay. All right. I want to talk a little bit before we go into the answer wheel. I want to talk a little bit about why I'm doing what I'm doing tonight. Well, I think it's important that, as I stated a little bit earlier, that we begin to gain a masculine perspective and not be ashamed of the name calling, because that's part of what people will do. They're going to shame, insults, guilt, and name calling. Okay, I say it's name calling. Kevin Samuels said it need to be right. I believe both of them are true, but the name calling, you have to, they're going to call you this, that, and the other, chauvinist. They're going to call you whatever, misogynist. They're going to call you all kinds of names. But the bottom line is you have to stand. Sticks and stones will break your bones, but names don't hurt. All they're doing is expressing where they are. And so and in a lot of cases, what they're doing is proving your point. And what we have to do is to let that be known that they are proving our point. So it's important that we begin to take a stand for masculinity. And what we have been grown on isn't true masculinity. It isn't. It has not been. It has not been. And that's why we have to understand the difference between malehood and manhood, because those are not the same two developmental processes. They're not the same two levels of development. They're not the same two stages of development. Okay? But masculine men need to stand up. One of the things that masculine men can do is, because of the way that we're built, we can take those hits, the name calling stuff. We can take that. We're built for that. We're built for that. Okay? But we still have to be able to stand up and be accounted, and to be counted as a masculine voice in this day and time. Regardless of what people say, we need men to stand up. And this is not what we're doing. We have men who are not men. They're not even men, really. Men understand who they are and what they're supposed to be doing. It's the males who have been raised by a feminine mentality and developed under a feminine mentality that sounds more feminine than they do masculine. We're going to talk about it. All right, but let's get ready to go to the answer wheel. Let's see if we can bring that up. And as usual, um, we're trying some different things. We're doing some different things here um, with our station. So we use the answer wheel to help us answer questions, queries that we may be having, areas in our lives that we may be having trouble with at this current juncture. So we give the universe an opportunity to answer us using the answer wheel. Now, the answer wheel is just something that I believe the universe said, I want you to use it. And on this wheel, it says, it gives us a myriad of different answers that possible for us to have. It's ask a friend, try again, no way, definitely, maybe, and yes. And so what we do is we just give the answer wheel a little tug and give it space to, sometimes we gotta back some things up. Let me do it again because I don't wanna, that it'll slow down. And then what it'll do is it'll eventually stop. It'll eventually stop. And once it stops, we'll know that we have an answer to our particular query. So let's look at what the answer wheel is doing. It's going around, and every time we get different answers, these answers are for you, for you to get the answer that you, or the query that you've been looking for. How about that? The answer tonight is no way. No way. The answer is no way. No way. No way. Don't do that. No way. Don't allow that to happen. No way. Don't go there. No way. Don't leave there. No way. Whatever it is that you're facing, the answer, if you would receive it, is no way. No way. No way is that true. No way can that happen. It's up to you to answer the question. And if no way fits, you pick it up and you use it. So it's no way tonight. No way is a good answer. It's a good answer. Because of what you've been going through, no way that you should continue to put yourself in a situation. No way. No way. Right? What I say all the time, the answer wheel is important. Will it infringe on anyone else's rights? Or will it infringe on anyone else's harm? Or will it harm anyone? It doesn't harm, doesn't endanger, but it makes better and it improves and it makes a person's situation positive, productive. It doesn't warrant hurt, harm, or danger to themselves or to others. It doesn't. It doesn't. Understand that. I'm not saying you go and harm anyone. I don't believe that that's not the way that the universe works. The universe does not operate that way. Okay? Now, I'm glad that you got an answer. And that answer is productive, right? Prosperous. It's freeing, liberating. Okay? All right. The Red Hot Mic, once again, we're here. We're ready to start talking about can that we talked about or looking at is can a woman outman a man? And I think it's important that we understand that each one of us, as far as what uniform you have on, what design you have, it's intentional. It is not by accident that you are what you are. It is not by accident. The way that you are, or the design that you have, is the best means for you to fulfill the very thing that the universe sent you to do. Accident. You weren't just a fleeting moment of your parents. Well, you may have been, but the bottom line is, when you, by virtue of you coming here, says that there is more to you than just that fleeting moment, or whatever Whatever happened to get you here, to the fact that you are here. And by the nature of you being here, says that you have an assignment. There's a reason for you being here, and you are designed to do something that only you can do. You are significant. You are meaningful. You are intentional. I don't care what anyone says to you. I don't care what they called you. The bottom line is you are an intentional idea. You're not an accident. You're an intentional idea from the universe. But somebody will tell you no. They will say, no, you're no good. Your father's no good. You're no good. You're just like your daddy. No, you're not. You're not like your daddy. You're not like your mother. You're unique, and you've been sent with a message, with a responsibility, right? And this message is only yours. Twins don't even come with the same message. So here's the deal. What we've got to understand is this. There is masculinity in this realm, and in this realm there's femininity. Now, masculinity and femininity comes from masculine and feminine. Masculine and feminine are the original source idea and energy that brings upon, in this realm, degrees, science. Anytime we talk about degrees, we're talking about scientific methodology that differentiates one level from another, from another, from another. Degrees, levels, stages, whatever. And so there's science that that operates in this sphere in which we live in, called Earth, right? And one of the things that is very important is to understand that masculine became masculinity to function and operate in this sphere. And when you were born, you were assigned either masculine, or masculinity, I should say, or femininity. That was your design by the universe. Nothing just happens. Everything is planned. Now, it's important to understand that feminine and masculine, the importance of feminine and masculine cannot be overlooked. Because feminine and masculine are not gender, are not sex, is not male or female. It's function and operation. How it operates, how it moves, how it is to function or operate. Masculine has a certain way of operating. Feminine has a certain way of operating. These two operations are dual or binary. They work together almost like yin and yang. They use one another. They are dependent upon one another. They are equal but not the same. They are equal but not the same. We got to continue to say that. The message is equal but not the same. And the importance of understanding and appreciating that is to understand that you need the other. Masculine needs feminine, feminine needs masculine. And when masculine and feminine comes into this realm, or came into this realm, or comes into this realm, that principle still abides. It's still femininity needs masculinity, masculinity needs femininity. Now, why? Why do they need one another? Because they are directly opposite of one another, and one needs the other because one cannot do what the other one does. It is not possible. It is not feasible. I don't care what you do, you cannot change the design. Right? You cannot change the design of a thing. The design of a thing comes from the mind of the creator of it. And we are not the creator of ourselves. We come here at the intentional thought, right? The consciousness of the creator. And by virtue of that, we are here to do what the Creator has sent us to do. And the best way to do it is in the uniform that the Creator designed us to come here in. But some people are not appreciating. Some people are not embracing their design. They detest their design. They want to be something else. Well, I was listening to a broadcast, and it was one person issue of masculinity and femininity, but the one person was saying that that a child has a right to choose for themselves what they want to be. But the other individual was saying, well, don't know. They don't know. And the other one individual was talking about going out to dinner, and his child saying that he wanted to eat something that the parent knew the child would not eat nor like. But the child said, but the parent knows the child better than the child knows themselves. Why? Well, for one thing, the parent was, the child was a little boy and the parent was the father. Father knows about being boys. And boys normally in that situation don't like experience, and from experience of being a boy, he knows he's not going to like that. And so the father said, no, we're not going to get you that. From I know that you like this, and you've always liked this, and you're not going to like it. You know what that's called? That's called parenting. That's what that's called. That's called parenting. But see, what some people will tell you is that's a parent ruling a child's. Children don't know who they are. They really don't. And if you don't train a child up in the way that they're supposed to go, guess who will? Culture will. The presiding culture will do the very thing that you're supposed to do. And the child is making the decision on their own, but they're not. They're still being taught, discipled, and disciplined by the culture. And so what's happening now? Let me just tell you what's happening now in our culture. What's happening, this movement has such that it's got such influence, not just the feminine, but the LGBTQ community as well, have gotten so much influence that what they do now is they've taken over media. They use the media to perpetuate a narrative. And the narrative is to destroy masculinity. Now, what helps them is effeminate men. Men who have, I'm talking about people that are LGBTQ. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about males that have not developed mentally, physically in the 8 areas that we've talked about. And so there's males that have not developed in those areas that think more like women or females than they do like men, because from a female mentality, and they've been taught, mentored, discipled, and disciplined by a female. So they think like a female. They act like a female. And it's not even saying that they're LGBTQ. They think that they're masculine, but they're not. They're not. They more agree with a feminine perspective than they do a masculine one, because they have not been accustomed to a masculine. So they'll take an opportunity to denigrate, to incinerate, and to disagree with a masculine mentality. And then there's some that I'm in very kind mentality is feminine in its nature as well. Because what we've got to understand is that where masculine, when we talk about the stages of growing and stages of social development, Eric, we have a similar dynamic that we talk about. And what we talk about is this. For boys, one of the things that boys use as a means of gaining superiority is violence. They use their muscles. They begin to develop muscles. And so the muscles become force and violence. Well, girls don't have that. So what girls do is they use their body, they shape the Coca-Cola shape, and they use that to manipulate. And it's the same equal but different kind of enforcement or violence that they are able to use over men to get them to succumb. Men use muscles, right? Women use feminine wiles. Okay. So now that mentality, if there's no masculine presence in the home, well, there's no other choice but it to be predominantly feminine. Now, some of these females, in an attempt to make up for the lack of masculine presence for their sons, tend to try to adopt traits. There's a difference between being something and adopting the traits of it. See, you adopt traits by observation. The more you observe something and you understand how it moves and flows and operates, then you start practicing that. And as you practice that, you begin to understand how it operates and flows in your own life. Now, here's the problem with that when that happens. What happens, not only does it happen through operation and they rehearse it. They rehearse it and rehearse it and rehearse it to the point that it becomes a way of thinking and a mentality. They become the observation and the rehearsal becomes an influence. And once they're influenced, and reality. And so now what happens is, because of its not being the totality of what the original is, there's always going to be compensation for the lack that it has. And so what we will always see is exaggeration of mentality, an exaggeration of aggressiveness, exaggeration of anger, hostility, and violence. You're going to see all of these things take on an added exaggeration. That's how you know that someone has adopted it, appropriated it. Just like we have cultural appropriation, right? We have trait appropriation, gender appropriation, right? And so what we're seeing now is we're seeing females portrayed as men, especially black females. Black females are more and more being put in lesbian roles and being put in a masculine lesbian role, which sets up black women to not find a mate and not to procreate the black race. Now, some will say, well, we can still go out and we can buy seed, but still you're in vitro and go in vitro. But the bottom line is, there's two women. There's still no masculinity. There's no genuine masculinity. All you have done is adopted traits on top of a feminine source, if you would, or resource. But the bottom line is she's feminine still, even though she may by trait try to be masculine. So her being trying to be masculine still does not negate that she and femininity is her original design. So that mentality will always creep in, creep through, because that's who she is. I don't care what she does. I say it time and time again, it doesn't matter. If a Toyota is a Toyota, if you put BMW parts on it, guess what? Toyota, it's still a Toyota. Regardless of what equipment you put on it, it's still a Toyota. So a masculine traits, parts, and vice versa, where a man puts on female parts and traits, still does not negate the masculine and feminine design that the Creator has purposed for them. So what we've got to understand is, can a woman outman a man? No, she cannot. Why? Because a woman understands. See, what we've got to understand what a woman is. A woman is a highly developed girl. She has reached the epitome of or femininity, in the sense that she's developed through all three stages: girl, female, and matriculated to woman, and has worked through the eight stages of feminine or femininity development. Okay? So we're talking about a highly developed individual. Women know, she understands, she perpetuates womanhood and understands that she is not, she needs a man, and yet she understands she's equal to a man, but yet different than a man. I hear these alpha males and saying that a woman is not equal to a man. But what they're really talking about is the difference in design. A woman and a man are designed differently. I put this post the other day to see what people would say. And I said that a woman is not smarter than a man, because this is what a man. No, she's not. She's just designed differently than a man. It's the design. It's not that she's smarter. She's been designed specifically for a purpose to fulfill. And so what we is a strategic planner. She's more global in her perspective because that's the way she's designed. Whereas men are more target and more vision focused, pinpoint target focused. That's part of what we are. Woman receive, men pinpoint, insert straight. That's what's important to understand. So, you know, I see these movies where we see women out muscling men. We see women out shooting men. We see women out men, and it's not possible. Sure, you're going to have exceptions, but I'm talking about generally speaking. Statistically, the average woman will never be able to outman a man. Just like a man will never be out to outwoman a woman. Designed for that. A man will never be able to out-receive, out-nurture, out-incubate a woman because he doesn't have the equipment to do it. And no matter how you put on or try to change, you'll notice change exaggerated. And there are always aspects of the masculine that will always follow you. Always. Why? Because that's your design. You can't, it's hardwired in you. You will never get away from that. In the public, when you get behind closed doors and there's no one but you, the truth will reveal itself. And that's where the cognitive dissonance comes in. That's where so many people have trouble within their lives when they're behind closed doors and they're battling with their identity. They're battling with their identity and their design. They're battling with their mentality and their material. And as a result, statistics show do harm to themselves. Many do harm to themselves. Now, I'm not trying to convince you one way or the other. Do you, boo-boo? But understand this. There's consequences to everything. To everything. The Creator meant for us to come here and to do a specific thing. What is that thing? Well, first of all, you got to understand that if you're masculine, if you've been assigned masculine or masculinity, you can insert, right? You can insert and inject. That's what you do. Now, everything on this planet is either of a masculine or a feminine nature. In masculine, I didn't say, it doesn't mean I'm talking about operation and function. I'm not talking about gender. Either operates masculinely or femininely. Masculine, feminine. It either injects, inserts, pierces, or penetrates. That's masculine. If it's feminine, it receives, it incubates, it receives, it nurtures, and it protects. Those are what they do. And that's going to be in you. And that's what is in everything. All you have to do is look at the thing, and very core, does it do which, masculine or feminine, to understand it, how and what perspective that it comes from. Everything. But we want to try to declare we want. No, we don't. Well, you do, but you can do whatever you want. But the bottom line is there's consequence. Everything has consequences. Everything, every action has a consequence. Now, if you're okay with the consequence, that's the problem with us as humanity. We are supposed to be here to do a certain thing, and we're not doing it. And we're wondering why our community, culture, and clan is not where it should be or could be. Well, because you're not doing your part. And the reason why you're not doing your part is because you're more concerned with doing your community, culture, and clan. When in all actuality, that's what you were sent here for, to improve your community, culture, and clan. That's why we're here. That is why we are here. And in doing that, when we help our community, culture, and clan, what we do is we do what the biblical narrative says. We are now taking dominion. Let them have dominion. We're having dominion when we fulfill what we're supposed to do. But most of us, many of us now do that. But yet there are still people. That's what I'm proud of. There are people that are sensitive to purpose, sensitive to why they're here, sensitive to masculinity and femininity, and they talk about it. What bothers me is a woman trying to tell a man how he's supposed to be. You can't do how they're supposed to be. Now, why can a man speak into a woman's life, but a woman cannot into a man? That's a very good question. We're going to talk about that the next time we come together. Why can a man speak into a woman's life, but a woman cannot speak into a man's life? It's very, very profound. That's why a man can say what he says about a woman, but a woman can't say what she should say to a man, or could, or is saying to a man. She should be saying it to a woman what women or girls or feminine or females are supposed to be doing as females. I know. I know. Some people are not going to like that because they feel that a woman has an equal right to say to a man, but there's a way for her to function and operate to get it done. But she doesn't have the right. She doesn't. And I know some people will say, well, that's chauvinistic. That's misogynistic. That's biblical. And if that's not where you are, then we're on two separate pages, really, altogether. Some people think that science and biblical are different, but this comes from biblical. Biblical is spiritual. Biblical. Biblical is not so much the writing as is the motive and the intent up behind it. That's what's biblical. Not your interpretation, your religious ideology. But the bottom line is anything that has, nothing that has two heads is normal. It's not. And that's just being honest. I'm not being mean, I'm being honest. That is not, but we know that is not the norm. When I say normal that way, that's not the norm, right? So the bottom line is, can a woman outman a man? No. But what we're having is we're males. And the only reason she can outmale you is because she has studied the traits of malehood and implemented them. She's rehearsed them to the point that her mentality has become more masculine than yours. Not only that, we see the females today, they are bigger, they're gaining more weight, right? The average black woman in the United States, 7 pounds. The average male is 198 pounds. But in some communities, we'll find that the females are bigger than the men. And we should say that those masculine traits that they've culturally or genderly accommodated, appropriated, they will seem to be more masculine than some of these males, because these males have they have no sense of, they're thin, they're non-masculine, they're feminine, they don't have muscle, the women are bigger and stronger, and so yeah, you're going to get beat up by a female, but no man will. No man will. It will never happen that way. He'll die first. Do you hear me? So the bottom line is that a female can outmale a male, but a female or a woman will never outman a man. Never. It's not possible. It is not possible. When we say not possible, we're talking, well, I know somebody, well, yeah, I'm sure you do. But how many people are on Earth? 7, 8 billion? How many people do you know? 40, 50? I mean, you got 5,000 on your Facebook page, but do you really know? No. So how are you gonna cause us to believe that your example over the 100 people you know goes for the 8 billion people on the planet? It doesn't. So how do I know? Statistics that cover a larger range than the 100 people you know. And the biblical narrative as the foundation of truth. And if that's not anything to talk about, you can go ahead and believe whatever you want, but it does not negate that science backs up the biblical narrative. It really does. The biblical narrative preceded scientific method. They are separate. Now they're separate from religion, but not biblical or spiritual. For me, spiritual is biblical. Okay. All right. We've gone long enough. I hope you got something out of that. Subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell. And I'm going to give you right now, I'm going to change and put our email and websites up so that you can contact us. And we're going to be adding the Twitter account too. We're going to be adding the Twitter account so that you can hit us up on the Twitter as well. So that when you hit us up on Twitter, what I will do of our broadcast into the Twitter, and what you can do is you can go to the Twitter, get the link, and then come on in to our chat room, and we can talk if that's what you like. Discuss some things if you like, or debate. That's fine too. Okay, so let's do it. So until the next time we meet, peace.